Hello everybody, welcome to another Versus Video Deck Tech. CVM here, joined once again
BBD.
by Mr. BBD, and we got a sweet one for you.
Yeah.
So, little bit of history lesson. 2005, I had just recently started playing competitive Magic. Like, I'd played off and on for a while, but was just getting into my own. And Mike Flores was working on a Juicy Blue deck, a blue control deck that just didn't really care about what its opponents did, as you would just tap out and play Kaiga or Moloku, and they just couldn't beat it. And this is basically that same deck here, you know, a million years later.
Yeah.
We have a 5-color dragon blue control deck that Mike Flores used to win the regional PTQ that he went to.
Yeah.
Although it was in Utah. Him and Chris picked the flats of Utah, and he just destroyed it. But this deck is actually really, really sweet. So the baseline of this deck is the fact that we have 8 dragon lands with 4 Crucible of the Spirit Dragon and 4 Haven of the Spirit Dragon, which let us take advantage of all of the powerful Dragon Lords. So there are Ojutai, Dromoka, Atarka, and then we have Baby Silumgar here in the main, but Dragon Lord Silumgar is in the sideboard. But these cards are all absurdly powerful, and it's just about navigating the game state to the point where you can get them in play.
Yeah.
And these 2 cards allow you to do that. Haven gives you some resilience with being able to rebuy them. It helps you fix the colors for them since they are all 2-colored spells. But Crucible of the Spirit Dragon is really the key part to this deck, where it allows you to just continue to charge up your mana, get to a point where you can use that mana to play a dragon and have counterspell mana available to keep it alive. So between Silumgar's Scorn being a hard counter and Dissolve being another hard counter, it doesn't take very long to get to the point where you just tap your Crucible, put Dromoka into play, and pass the turn, and your opponent can't win.
Yeah.
The rest of the deck is just, basically a mono blue control shell. Between the counter spells, we have a couple Perilous Vaults, since there are going to be some troublesome permanents we need to take care of. Icefall Regent, just because it's a very good dragon that helps turn on our Silumgar Scorns. So that gives us 3, 6, 9, 11 dragons. It's a lot of dragons.
Yeah, I think Silumgar Scorn will be turned on quite frequently.
Yeah, most of the time. We do have a Dragon Lord's Prerogative, which will be turned on most of the time as well, which is pretty sweet against all the other Esper Dragon decks.
Yeah.
And then we have an Ugin as a way to clean things up, since why not? We do have Haven of the Spirit Dragon, rebuy it if we need to.
Yep.
The unique elements to this deck are Encase and Ice in the main deck. So this plays along with the sideboard strategy against the aggressive red decks, which have traditionally been a bad matchup for these types of decks. But it's also just a really good card right now.
It is, yeah.
Like, you can put it on so many things. Fleece Mainline, it goes on basically everything in the Green-Red Dragons deck. You can put on, like, a Goblin Rabblemaster. It's not the best answer, but, it makes it a little easier to handle just a 1/1 every turn as opposed to a giant Rabblemaster. The card is just really, really good right now, and it's worth playing in the main.
Yeah, Deathmist, Raptor, and Den Protector are really popular right now, and that card's very good against Deathmist Raptor.
Absolutely. We have a couple Anticipate, some Dig Through Time, and a Voyage's End. I know Chapin doesn't like it, but defaults to Mike Flores saying he just likes playing with the card. Much similar to Adrian Sullivan has his pet cards. I think Mike also has his pet cards, and Voyage's End is one of them.
Yeah.
If you're interested in reading more about the deck, I definitely suggest that you check out Chapin's article on Star City Premium. I also talk about it in my article that's on the Select side that also has links to the other articles where you can check it out. So a lot of great information there. And then we just have a bunch of lands. So as you can see here, we have Polluted Deltas, but no swamps. This is just as a way to help fuel our dig through time.
Yep.
And then we have Temple of Mystery and Temple of Enlightenment as ways to help fix our mana for our dragons. So the blue-white's going to be the best because Ojutai and Dromoka both have white in their casting cost.
Yep.
Blue-green is going to be next best because Dromoka and Atarka both have green in their casting cost. And then we have Temple of Deceit for black to help out with Silumgar on the main and more copies in the sideboard. And then we're kind of leaning on the Havens and Crucible charges to get the red mana for my Dragon Lord Atarkas. I do know that in the post-report article he said that one of the Temple of Deceits should have been a Temple of Epiphany to help along with that, but we're gonna play the list exactly as it is now. and see how that kind of lines up for us. But let's go ahead and take a look at the sideboard and see the sweet package that we have on the sideboard, because I really like it. All right, we are back with the sideboard for the 5-color blue Dragons deck.
Yep.
Which is a lot of words. It's a mouthful for a deck. And as you see a Dragon Lord Atarka there, that is not a 3rd Dragon Lord. I actually had read the listing correctly. There was 1 in the main and 1 in the board, and there's a Disdainful Stroke in the main and 1 in the board. So it's just a 1-and-1 split on both of those cards.
Yep.
So we have another Dragon Lord Atarka, because the card is just really good against a lot of different decks. Negate. Another Encase in Ice, 2 Dragonlord Silumgars, which I know that in Patrick Chapin's article this week he talks about how the Silumgar, the Drifting Death, should just be in the sideboard, and there should be 2 Dragonlords in the main, since the card is just very, very good.
Yeah, it's I had the displeasure of playing against Dragonlord Silumgar a bunch of times this weekend, and let's just say that it is much better than the Drifting Death. It is actually really hard to beat that card. It's really annoying to play against.
Yeah, for a lot of decks. And there was even a point in Mike's top 8 match that he needed to win to qualify his regional PTQ, where he removed a bunch of counters from his Crucible, cast a Dragonlord Dramoka with just the counters, and then cast a Dragonlord Silumgar and stole his opponent's Ugin. Can't counter that.
Game.
It's pretty absurd. So I definitely like the Dragonlord Silumgar. We have another Disdainful Stroke, another Dragonlord's Prerogative, and then we have this package of Omen Speaker and Master of Waves. So this package is coming in against the red aggressive decks, and I really, really like it, since Master of Waves is just a very good card against them. But I also really like Omen Speaker since it also comes in against the decks that have Foul Tongue Invocation. So it helps smooth your draws.
Yeah.
Lets you get rid of some of the poor cards that you have in your main deck when you're playing against another control deck. But just like being able to protect yourself against Foul Tongue Invocation is real good.
Yeah, it is. So, Foul Tongue is one of the best cards in the format right now. And yeah, having this guy to protect your dragons is it's pretty sweet.
Not only that, but I imagine games where you play this guy on 2 and he does like 7 damage before anything actually happens, because you guys are just playing a blue control mirror match.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you only have to hit a couple times with the other dragons and they're dead. So that's the sideboard. I'm really excited to give this deck a try. Like I said, Jushi Blue is one of my favorite decks of all time, and this deck feels quite a bit like that. We don't have Disrupting Shoal to just like blindly tap out for our dragon on turn 6 or whatever. But like Ojutai has hexproof, and you can relatively safely just put it into play on turn 5 and then untap and handle whatever your opponents have after that.
Yeah.
Especially in a deck like this where we have just a whole bunch of different counterspells.
Yeah, Ojutai really puts them in a no-win situation where either they hold open for removal and you don't attack, or they play stuff and then you get to attack and draw cards.
Yeah, it's just real good.
Yeah.
So make sure you check out BBD's video for his Abzan Megamorph deck. It's played by Jim Davis at the Open in Cleveland last weekend. And check out the video where we battle and see which... I guess I'm going to say see which dragons come out on top, but you don't have any dragons in your deck.
Yeah, so
I feel like you're at a disadvantage.
I'm hoping no dragons come out on top.
Make sure you check it out.